Hey guys, are you buying a used set of coilovers? Because if you are, I've got some tips and tricks that might help you to not get screwed over. Stay tuned. I purchased these used recently so I can put them in my car, and I was looking out for a few different things that I'm going to tell you guys now, and hopefully that can help. So I'm going to divide it up into 4 parts: top, 2 middle parts, and the lower section. And so we'll talk about all them now. The top section is the top mounting plate. So first thing you want to do is check the plate itself for any possible damage, cracks, anything of that sort, because you want something that's in good condition. This will be your first supporting piece. Second thing you want to do is check the studs. You want to check them if they're broken, you want to check them if the thread's damaged, anything of that sort, because they might give you a headache. Next thing you want to check is the movement. So I'll show you that now. So I'm going to be showing you the type of movement that you want. Here it's fairly square. I'm going to be pressing down on it and see how much it moves, and you guys can see what kind of force I'm putting in. So I'm pushing down with my left and I'm putting in a considerable amount of force to move that. Now you want to move it because you want to see if it's seized. If it is and it won't move, that's not a good thing. You also don't want it to be too loose. So I'm just going to push it back so you can see what it looks like. So you want it to be firm, but you don't want it to be too soft and you don't want it to be stuck. So that's something to keep an eye out on. Next thing you want to be able to do, once you've moved it and you check that everything's in good condition and everything's decent and that you've got movement, you want to check the shaft. So each shaft should come with a sock. If it's not, you don't have any protection on the shaft. So we're looking for any sort of pitting or damage to the shaft. You also want to stand back a little bit and see if it's bent. If it is, that's a problem. So you should be able to do that both ways and lifting it up too and checking the bottom section. Stuff like that. So once you're checking the shaft and you're seeing that the connections are good and that it's all in good order, the next middle part is the seal. So the seal is one of the most common things that fail, or the seal assembly. So what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to go down and be able to see it. Here from this angle you can see that the seal seems to be in good condition, if it will focus. Now you look through this gap with your own eyes because they can autofocus better, and you can judge whether you see any sort of damage across the seal or any sort of potential leak. One thing to keep in mind is the condition of the overall coilover. If this coilover is clean and it looks like the owner's cleaned it, it might not be a good sign. They might be trying to hide something. So look out if this section particularly is clean, and if the coilover in general has parts that are dirty and parts that are clean, because that could be an indicator that they're hiding something. One thing to note is you can never really know until it's in the car and it's in service. The best possible thing you can do is test the coilover before you buy it when it's in the car. But a lot of the time people pull it out of the car and sell it, so you can't do that. So just understand that you're taking a risk when you buy used coilovers. The next part you want to look out for is the bottom section. So that goes from the collar down. That's the shaft section, or the main shaft section. You want to look at the quality of the coilover. A lot of the times you'll get clearance issues where you'll have damage across the coilover, and that could affect your coilover. Another thing you want to look out for is the actual thread itself. So I'm going to show you right now an example of a damaged thread and which would be acceptable and which wouldn't be. So here we have some damage to the thread, most likely from a wheel that isn't made for the car or is extremely large for the car. So damage across the coilover, when I zoom in, would look like that. Now keep in mind that your nut or collar cannot pass over this section that is damaged. So you don't want it to be damaged in a part where you would adjust it. Here, up high in the coilover section, you wouldn't be reaching that range to adjust the vehicle. The adjustable section is the bottom portion of the coilover. So if you have any thread damage down low, you should keep an eye out for that, because that could be terrible. The last section you want to look out for is the bottom section. This is where your mounting is. So you want to look if there's any damage, any cracks, any sort of stuff that can impact the performance of the coilover. So as you can see here, although it's dirty, there is no damage to it. You also want to look at this side of the mounting, which will hold your brake lines or your ABS lines or something of that sort. You want to see if that can possibly cut them or has been cut in the past, and that can cause you problems. So I hope you enjoy my video, and I hope this helps when you're purchasing coilovers. I'm going to be installing these into my car, which is there. And like and subscribe if you want to see my old coilovers, which I assume are very damaged. Okay, thank you.